I put you on mute. All right, just a second. You on? We're waiting on Gina to come in and I get myself ready. My computer went out this morning, actually. So, and we're running on a time limit this morning. Gina only has about 30 minutes, so we'll probably we may stay a little later. And I'll take some questions if anyone want to chime in. So I did put up like a thing on Instagram earlier as well. If anybody wanted to text or call in, I thought it would be kind of dope if other people could join.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe if that's not today, maybe later on. Down the line when people get more comfortable. So today is a Three of Diamonds week. Speaking of weeklies.
Today's the 8 of Clubs, right?
Huh?
Today's the 8 of Clubs day.
Yeah, today's the Eight of Clubs day.
One of my favorite cards.
Your soulmate, right?
So they say.
Well, so it has been played.
Well, I like 8 of Clubs energy, though. One is my cosmic lesson. I love their mind. There's something about the mind that I just am so intrigued about, and how they think, and the thought process that they have, the mental power that they have. Mm-hmm. And the more that I tap into that energy, the like, it's almost like it's like, God knew what he was doing when, universe knew what it was doing when they put that as the Jack of Hearts cosmic lesson card. Because it's like, if without that, I don't know that we'd make it.
Why is that? So as far as the having to be kind of
because it gives you a lot of, like, I think the mental power that card has, because the Jack of Hearts can kind of, be a little bit all over the place. And I think that 8 of Clubs, helps to ground the mind, give the mental capacity that the Jack of Hearts can have, because it can be such a giving love energy that they don't think. So that 8 of Clubs is like right there, like, what are you doing? You gotta use your brain here. Get out of your heart. Stop feeling so intensely and use your damn mind. I think that's good.
I have the King of Diamonds as my cosmic lesson. So yeah, I think when it comes to like that particular card in position, it's something that I look towards is like they come in your life, like you said, to kind of show you the power that you actually have, and actually how to use the strength within that card, So, like you said, they kind of come in and maybe can show you probably how to like kind of get out your emotions and maybe, like you said, think more logically. And I'm about to switch devices because I'm on my phone right now. Good morning. Good morning. And also see the let me put this on.
Nice. It's like I'm coming in from another planet.
What is that noise?
Oh, that's me.
Oh, it's because you're going into two places. That was
the portal from the third to fifth dimension, Gina.
Jeez.
Nice. Laundry folding, always one of the favorite morning activities.
Well, not really, but I'm packing. So.
Oh, nice. Where you going?
Well, not far. My daughter's AAU tournament. It's the final tournament, and it's in Orlando, and it's for the next 4 days straight. So we're staying down there, so I don't have to drive back and forth.
Oh, nice, dude. That sounds
So I only have I told Rashad I have about 30 minutes and then I got to jump off because I just have entirely way too much to get done.
All right, honey. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it'll be, she plays today at 3 and then at 9 and then 2 games tomorrow. And then usually there's like a 5-hour gap between the games. So it's like we have the hotel, she can nap or relax instead of having to.
It's like a whole shared experience, right?
Yeah, my dad's coming up too. So I'll have my niece. So it'll be fun.
Nice, Gina.
Yeah.
I really liked the room the other night that you and Rashad did with the readings and just the ease between you. It was just great.
Yeah, it was a good room. Quick in and out.
Yeah. It was good. Glad to see you here. I guess we're already live, huh?
Yeah, we are. As I do my laundry.
And it's a 3 of diamonds, and we're doing that thing that you do when you're involved in the life of a 3 of diamonds, right? Like
everything
happened, wondering where he is, you're doing a bunch of things all at once.
One time.
I remember in early times when I first met you all, I'd often hear like, "What's Rashad doing now? Where is he? What happened?"
Oh yeah, when we first started on Clubhouse.
Yeah. Can't hear you, Rashad.
What about now?
Yeah.
Doing 2 or 3 things at one time is definitely the life of a 3 of diamonds. I don't know why and how, but we always find ourselves doing multiple things at the same time. I don't know if I ever had just really took a rest and had like one job, even at any point in time. If I didn't have one job, I was always involved in a different type of project somewhere else. Volunteering like a young professionals group, recording videos, helping with marketing or something. So volunteering at the radio station or something, So definitely.
Well, then I guess for those of us who like to, be adventurous in business, we're lucky to know people like you who are willing to try so many things, right?
Yeah.
And look at things, because I transformed into one last year, and I definitely was doing when I accessed my self at the end of my year, looking at my birthday. I was like, man, I am involved in a lot of stuff. This must be a diamonds thing.
It's busy.
Good.
It's very busy energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it helps, that's where these cards really can, make a big difference. If you're just aware of that, now you know that instead of worrying, you can use it to create. You can use it to, because I tell you, a lot of 3s in your spread, and you're not aware of it. Oh my Lord, I can imagine the constant like, which way do I go? What do I do? What's the best thing for me? And they need to relax. They can be hypersensitive, overboard with that energy. So it's important to be aware of it so that instead of it, because it'll stress you out and then it can affect your health if you're not, you know what I mean? So I think it's important to be aware of that because it's some of the most busiest, that and the 5s can be very busy and, you don't know what's really going on. Mm-hmm. It can cause you to stress yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a 5 of spades in Jupiter, so just from that, you're talking about just the aspect and the heaviness of a 5. Jupiter can cause obsession. It can be OD. It can go overboard as well. It comes with a lot of fire energy, and even when we look at the spades, sometimes we look at that as like fire energy, and then like you said, it can affect your health. That's actually one thing I never really looked at. I look at the Ace of Spades and Mercury, of course, but then also you got to look at the 5 of Spades and Jupiter as well. Like when you think about restlessness and overdoing it, maybe you have to slow down a little bit, take some time. They say 5 of clubs, 5 of spades, slow down, look both ways before you cross the road, before jumping in and just reacting to everything, But it displaces the 6 of hearts as well. So you do have that kind of thinking about that, trying to tell you to kind of slow down. But when you say slow down in the 6 of hearts is Mars. So it's like what is that?
I think that gives you more, like, that makes it even more passionate when the change happens. Like, you have to be able, because the 5s in Jupiter, that's really about having a lot of faith that the change is leading you to something even better, more aligned. 6, actually more taking you to your purpose. But if you resist it, then it becomes a challenge, and it becomes like you're spinning your wheels, but because you're going against the flow, you're going against the change, because that 6 is actually bringing you more to your purpose. That change, that whatever that shift is happening, you have to be able to go with the flow and trust. And I think that's a big part of the 3s, not being able to trust it, not seeing it yet, not having it in your hand. Like, so you're like, this is BS. It's not happening. Right. But I think it's important with that 5. And then the 6 of Hearts is not, yes, it wants peace, but it'll knock you down to get it, because it is Mars. It's passionate. It's like it's on a mission, and you really can't get in its way. So you really have to kind of go with the flow with that energy, I think. And trust in the change. Trust that the change is actually leading you to something more aligned, more for you, more of your purpose.
I'll tell you, that's such a theme, that part right there. Like, I mean, in so many of the conversations we have about whatever the angle, whatever the card, the position, the planet, it's like, you got to trust. You got to trust. You got to keep going. You got to trust. You have to have faith. Like, you know what I mean? I just consistently hear that message in life, and especially when we talk about the cards. And I guess that's really just detachment, right?
I think that's not just detachment, but it shows your mindset. It shows if you really, are like, I've my, new thing that I kind of bring to the attention when I'm doing the readings is see where you go. Like, because, okay, back to the 5, things are going to change. It's inevitable. So when things start to change, where do you go in your mindset, in your thought process? Do you instantly go to the bad? Oh, this is like, what's happening? Why is this happening? Victim mentality. Or do you see the blessing? I think that's where people struggle. They're where their mind goes initially when things start to change. Is it a negative reaction or a positive reaction?
Yeah, I also think there's ways, like I know in my experience, like, oh, but do I still want to do that? Like, can I still do that? What happens to that if I go there? I mean, can I have this and that when I go there? Do you know what I mean?
Can you let go of that to get this?
Yeah, and do you have to let go of that?
Right. Right.
Is that part of it, or is that a part I let go? Right, because it's like you don't even know where you're holding tight until you have to let go. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and also the 5 of Spades has that 9 of Spades and Mars. So they like,
they gotta let go.
Yeah. So
they have no choice.
Yeah, it's like if not, like you said, things can maybe hold you back. Maybe yourself, bad habits, and it can be a change of your lifestyle. Not just people, businesses. It can be habits, lifestyle, like you said, health, or whatever it may be that is hindering you from, having that peace, or stability as far as financially, job wise, and wherever it may be. And I think whenever you're talking about faith, I think the king, like when I see faith, and from my perspective, is like knowing that this is going to pay off, knowing the time and what you put into this, no matter what happens or what changes, you can make internal or external changes. They always say like 3 diamonds to change your business like 3 times or multiple times, and you may not even recognize the changes, but it was something of growth. I think when you're looking at the 5 of Spades and Jupiter, it's definitely growth and development, right? Whether it may be even spirituality, right, or wherever it may be, it's like always seeking to gain more or to find out more. It's the experience of everything. So this experience is the ultimate lesson.
Makes sense, because that's how you integrate everything, right? Energies, right? Because by doing something like to talk about playing tennis is different than playing tennis, right? So once you actually have the experience, your physical body can have the experience. That makes the same sense. That you have to kind of like live it and have it run through you, if you will.
Yeah. I say that overall the diamonds touch the stove even when it's hot, just to experience. Just we gotta learn the hard way sometimes, unfortunately. And that makes sense. They say 3 diamonds and Queen of Diamonds have the hardest life paths, right?
Oh yeah. So okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know why it says that. They don't make us sound too good. But we sit in Saturn Mercury, so it's like dedication, time, structure, organization, learning, discipline. So it's all about gaining discipline over that time period as well. And also the five of spades in itself is challenged by the four of diamonds, you know. Um, so, I think the four of diamonds is seeking also financial stability within itself as well, like even within the career changes, um, getting to a point where I think the four of diamonds is also the Pluto to the Queen of Spades. So when I see that card, it's like they've created something that's really valuable, that can grant them stability, whether it's material or whatever it is that they may create. It's a car that is seeking to change, develop, and make whatever it's doing better, in any shape, form, or fashion. I think it's all about progress.
Yeah. It's always about making it a little bit better than when you found it.
Yeah, because it's the sitting at Venus Neptune with the four of diamonds. I always look at the relationship it has with the five of spades, because they say four of diamonds is very difficult. And I hate to say that I'm like, how is the three of diamonds, queen of diamonds hard? I would hate to have a king of spades and Pluto.
Are you talking about the four of diamonds path?
Yeah, right, yeah.
They do receive a lot of cool opportunities to shine and be strong, and they are able to focus and get things done. Like I know a good like 8 or 9 of them, but no, I have no interest in being them. There's far more in my loner kind of style. Their clinginess and closeness and intensity and sometimes heaviness of their story is work for my character.
I've noticed. I jokingly say the four of diamonds reminds me of Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. and it's because it can, and I think a big part of that is that king of spades and Pluto is like da-dum, da-dum. Because the ones that I've come across, and this isn't for all of them, because obviously they're all ruled by different energies and different aspects, but the common theme that I've seen with the few that I've encountered is that very like slow, stuck, depressed. I definitely can see a lot of depression with that energy if they can't get unstuck. You know what I mean? Because here, fours represent stability and structure, but they can also be very complacent. And because they are probably used to people maybe taking care of them or doing things for them, because they have that eight of hearts in Venus, right? And then they have the Queen of Hearts in Saturn. So they very well draw in people to take care of them. So they can get complacent in that and then not have motivation to really un-Eeyore themselves, unstick themselves.
I'm entitled about people taking care of them.
But they also, I've noticed like the women, very attractive. There's a very attractive energy. They know how to draw you in. They know how to really they're very attractive. And I think one of the most important things for them is just getting clear about what is important to you and building off of that. Because the King of Spades and Pluto, there's an immense amount of responsibility that comes with that. There's an immense amount of like integrity and realizing that it's you in control of either you being stuck or you growing. You know what I mean? And that really requires you to look at yourself and really put in the work and the effort again, because and I think that's where you get the high or the low, because it's a fixed card, the King of Spades, which can give, I feel like the four of diamonds a more fixed energy is stuck, the Eeyore, da-dum, da-dum. So it's just what I noticed, and I've noticed that they can deal with a lot of the power struggles that can come with having that King of Spades and a Queen of Hearts and Pluto or in Saturn. So yeah.
Always when we talk like this, my brain just like, what would happen if somebody's listening to this and they're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean King of Spades and Pluto and like, what do you mean? I do know now because I've listened for years now, and I do understand the language that's speaking. It's almost like I don't speak Spanish, but I understand Spanish. That's how it feels when Gina talks to me. All right, well.
Well, that's why I brought the spread up. I don't know if my mouse even can, if it's if y'all can see if it's highlight when it's highlighted, you know. So when she say it's in the delusion and the slowness, right? I think comes from the.
Can you make it bigger so we could see it? Is that what's not working? Okay, great.
That might be too big. But the delusion and sitting down in the slowness, I think, can come from the Neptune position. It says Venus Neptune, right? And she was talking about the Queen of Hearts, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, sitting Saturn for the Four of Diamonds, you know. So whenever you're looking at the Four of Diamonds, talking about responsibility as well, you know, and having to get out your emotion, deal with your emotions, you know, always attaining to maybe the needs of others, possibly being like really mothering or looking at those particular aspects. Sometimes they say that the men have it a little bit tougher with the Queen of Hearts and Saturn, you know, having people to come to your aid or needing a woman or, you know, having those emotional attachments, you know.
They have mommy issues, right? Like more not mommy issues. I don't like that, but more challenging with that energy, because not only is their Saturn card the Queen of Hearts, but their cosmic lesson is the Queen of Clubs. So there is this learning, and I think too can't forget that the queens are about also receiving. So they are probably used to, you know, they may have a mother who does nothing but take care of them, you know, and now when they grow up and they get out there, they're like, who the fuck's gonna take care of me?
You know what? Nick was speaking about, I think one time, the Jack of Diamonds having the Queen of Hearts in Neptune, and how it can be like delusional, like you can't really satisfy it, you know. So looking at the other end, like the Four of Diamonds, I guess like men with the Queen of Hearts and Saturn. Yeah, I think that can be like somewhat emotionally dependent or going out, you know what I'm saying, like looking for your mom within relationships or having issues or always reflecting about your past relationships or the things that have brought you pain, you know, maybe in life, or the hardships of your relationships or your mother in those relationships, you know. And you can say like the emotional pain can probably take over your physical body, right, in some type of sense.
Yeah. Because the story just grows it, right? The story, I mean, it's funny because almost all of the ones that I know all have a certain story. And from, you know, circling with them, I've heard that particular story, I don't know, 10, 20, 50 times. Do you know what I mean? Of like, well, you know, this happened and that happened, you know. So I think that's interesting to say it like that. And it goes with that whole ancestral kind of holding for the team, as the Four of Diamonds is suggested to be, that one connected to ancestry. So they might be like, I don't know, holding it, but also vibing in it in a way that it becomes more, like sedentary, like it holds them.
But funny thing though, their result card to that King of Spades and Pluto is the Three of Hearts. So, you know, they gotta unstick themselves. They gotta really experience. They gotta create. They've gotta lighten up. They gotta have fun. They gotta get Eeyore.
Go out and experiment, you know,
right?
Experience new things.
Come out of the four walls that you've put around in yourself. You know what I mean? That's like that energy. Don't rock the boat. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's that type of.
And I think they kind of like I would say they like unusual relationships, you know, like having people from different backgrounds, ethnicities, you know, something that's not of the norm. Especially like I think it's good for the Jack of Clubs as well. Like either someone older or younger, there's like some type of like something different about their relationships. It's like almost like I look at them like the Seven of Hearts. Maybe you should look at them, not to say that the rose-colored glasses probably can do them justice, so they're not so fixed in the head, right? So the delusion maybe within their relationships is probably a good thing, so they can open up and experience and have that three of hearts.
Yeah, lighten up. Have fun.
I guess that's the message too. We all gotta lighten up, right?
Play a little bit,
Okay.
that is a, wait, is there cosmic? Hold on. If their result card is the Three of Hearts, their cosmic lesson, I'm sorry, is the
Ace of Clubs.
Ace of Clubs. Yeah. Cosmic Moon is the Queen of Clubs.
Yeah, which doesn't make it better, right?
Right.
As far as what you were speaking from.
Yeah, it makes probably even more intense because it's the moon and the mother. So that's even more mommy boy.
Yeah, and the FYI, I'm sorry, and we kind of got into the conversation from speaking about the Five of Spades.
We went all over. I don't.
Yeah.
This is true 3 energy, like.
And I'm all stuck because as soon as you guys talked about the 5 of Spades and he put up the spread, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a 7 of diamonds this year. 5 of Spades is the Mercury. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
My brain went there,
And also put in perspective for everyone else, these cards and these positions changes, right? So you can experience these things. That's why we talk about it in the weekly. It's like, of course, the 3 of diamonds, right? It's a 3 of diamonds week. So just being busy, being active, if you have 4 diamonds or 3 of diamonds in your spread, we're just looking at the weekly energy. So we got to the 4 diamonds from, like I said, the 5 of Spades. And the 5 of Spades has the 4 diamonds supporting it and challenged by the 10 of Hearts. And I was talking about the 4 of diamonds and having to have that balance and having those 5s under it. So whenever you see the karma cards, it's also looking at a reflection of what's helping that other energy,
And you see the common denominator with a lot of the 5s, there's 4s always connected for the most part. 3 of them have the 4s either challenging or supporting it, so they travel together.
Yeah, even the 4 of Spades transforms into the 5 of diamonds. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, of course, the 4 4s, right? The 2 4s. I always look at those bottom corner as like 44, the law of 44, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even the 44th card is the 5 of Spades, right?
44?
The solar value of the 5 of Spades?
39 and 5 is 44, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's crazy.
So yeah, you have like Gina was saying, always kind of having the concepts of those 5s kind of close by for the 4s.
And even with the 5s having the, you notice that a lot of the 5s have, like the 5 of diamonds has the 4 of hearts and the 4 of diamonds, Pluto and reward. So there's something here with this. You gotta, because 4s can get stuck, that they need to grow. They need those 5s, and 5s need, I feel like, to truly be free, they have to have some kind of solid, they need to have, I think they struggle with planting roots, which would be 4 to me, and grounding, and to really actually truly feel free. They still do need a sense of security, but it's very unfamiliar to them. It's challenging to them.
It's like going, the traveler, he goes off, travels, but can always come back home to his roots. So it has that. Even the 5 of Spades, and so it says it's kind of like the traveler who always takes a little bit of home with them as they travel. So that's one of the sayings of the 5 of Spades. Even the 5 of Hearts, the traveling gypsies, so you see those dynamics of traveling. But like you said, where's the root? Where's the base? Where's the home? Where's the foundation? Where's the security?
And I think they are here to create it for themselves. They may not have had a very solid beginning, or one without cracks, one without some bumps. So maybe their mission, their journey, is to create that for themselves. you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have a solid structure as an example, it is very unfamiliar to them, right? So, or challenging with the Five of Diamonds having the Four of Hearts and Pluto. You know, they may not have ever seen a solid structure.
Whole family life, right? Home life.
Right. That might be a little rough. And so, but there's a lot of, but here's the thing though, because Pluto doesn't just, you know, want to drag you. It really wants you to, I look at that as, okay, knock down, you know, break down what happened in the past and build something better, build something more solid. But now it's from you and not your surroundings, not what was, you know, what you came through.
Or even just I think the obsession and the passion to maybe even want to create something, or to seek marriage or a home life or family life in some type of way.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, building that foundation, from something that, you know, it may not even be what you thought it was. You know, having to think outside the box, dealing with the
Mm-hmm.
files as far as change, right? So the thing that you may have considered as a home life family structure could be, maybe a little different than what you imagined. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but definitely, you know, working on the home. I think looking at the Vedic, I look at Pluto now as something that you're consistently working on. So it's kind of like Dharma, like your daily duties almost. So Pluto is, you know, just as important as daily tasks as like your Mercury almost, you know. So there's a desire, or something, a fixation that drives you to those concepts. So hearts is of course around family and those particular aspects. Inheritance, and I say inheritance, but like like they say, like your family outside of your family is like your tribe as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the family maybe outside your family, you know?
Yeah. I don't, before we go and Gina jumps off, have you guys noticed the shift in the energy? Have you noticed like a shift? Like this last few days, I don't know if it's solar flare, I don't know what's happening, but like I
The nodes moved.
really feel a shift, like a shift in my responses, in my regulation. Like several people said to me the last couple of days, like, you sound so regulated. I said, I feel so regulated.
Mm-hmm. So the nodes moved Tuesday, maybe, I think, because I think we talked about it in the room or whatever we were, wherever we were. The nodes moved from the Taurus Scorpio axis to the Libra Aries, or Aries Libra. Aries is the north node now, Libra is the south node. So there's that shift. You look at where that is in your chart.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where's Aries, where's Libra? You know, that's where the path is now. You know, and that is a shift.
So my path, so when I have my 8th house is my 7th house is my north node. So now I have to find out where the Aries is what you're saying, and find out, like, that's going to give me more information about what it is that is focusing
what
on.
house is being
Which house?
Yeah. Like for me, Aries is my, depending on what system you're looking at, first and second. And then my Libra is 7th and 8th.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me
see. So my Libra is my 10th and 11th house.
So your work.
Yeah.
Career.
And the Aries is in my 4th house, 3rd and 4th, and even a little bit of 5th, but mostly 3rd and 4th. So communication, work, right?
Well, and Aries is about self, and Libra is partnership. So the balance of, you know, because Aries wants me, I, go, 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 you know, and Libra is like, oh, but wait, what about the other person, you know, trying to keep the peace and stuff like that. So it's a big energy shift. And we also have Venus is about to go retrograde. We're moving into Leo season shortly. It's been a big astrological week in itself. The Sun and Pluto are doing something as well. I mean, there's a lot happening.
I was listening to it too, but like I said, I would literally feeling it. Like I'm like, oh, I really do feel like I'm just responding differently. Like I'm for sure two things. One, I'm like, oh yeah, that's done. And the other's like, oh, that's interesting. Okay, let's see where that's going. Like just certain things are just done. Like I'm just like, nope, we're not gonna do that anymore. That's done. And then, like I said, then there's like a real call to do my own work and to finish my thing so that the idea of partnership doesn't become a distraction. My big prayer for the new moon was goodbye distraction. I want my focus back. I know you helped me grow and I'm grateful for all of it, but I want to know what it feels like to keep my focus and to go forward with my focus and not always be distracted by, being a mom, being helpful, whatever.
I think that's the balance from the one and the second, right? Between self and the need for partnership or to work with other people. I think even from that Venus or that Libra essence, they love working with people. They love partnerships, but making sure they also take care of themselves as well. Within the essence, and I think that's the focus and shift, especially this week. Oh my gosh, I felt it like almost instantly. I was laying around, laying in my bed on the phone with my relatives, and we started talking about business and money, and I was like, no, I don't. I'm not, because you all don't operate how you're supposed to. So it's like I'm just focused on me. It's no we in this particular moment. I'm sorry. It's like I just felt that, and they took as far as offense because I came, because usually I am. I'm always thinking about family. I think that's one thing about Three of Diamonds as well. It can be about family business, also. So a lot of times I can sacrifice myself. I felt like I have before, but now it's like a focus on me. I need to, like you said, do what I need to do and get what I need to get done in order to even be healthier in a partnership or relationship.
For sure, get these freaking shirts made, Rashad, by Christmas. The guy was wearing, this is one Rashad made. This is just what my husband bought me for my birthday. His are going to be much cooler than this. Though I do love this arm game. I'm a big fan of that. But it's the guy at the Dave Matthews Show playing the saxophone with the funky goatee. He's wearing a King of Spades shirt.
Nice.
And my boys are having their birthday. I was like, can we have a card party and everybody know their card? So I just say that to everybody that they didn't want to do it. But that we start to recognize that this is kind of like a tag, like a getting to know how you are, not a place to hide. A lot of times our ego is like a idea of ourselves that we're kind of like using as a mask. I think the cards are so different. I think the cards are like, oh, look, this is what I am. This is how I am. This is what I come from. It's not a place to hide or to stand in like you're cooler. It's a bunch of energy to recognize how to play. Like you get a whole hand. How do you play your hand? How do you wear your card? So by no means do I want to buff out in my King of Diamonds. I more want to learn how to use my whole hand of my King of Diamonds in a way that I can be helpful to the life spread, moving to the spiritual spread.
Yep. And this week, with the transformation card being the Four of Clubs, the Three of Diamonds there, I think that's a big part of, I think getting to that peace, getting to that relaxation, getting to that contentment is a big part of, because like you said, you're not just, you have all these other cards, you have all these other placements. And so how do you marry them together? How do you work with them copaesthetically and lean into them, not resist them, and make your way through the transformation? Because I think with that transformation, there's a lot of healing that happens with that, and seeing how you can, especially with the threes. And I think it's really fascinating that three of them transform into fours. And that's what I do. When you pull up the spread, it's all I can see is just the patterns, like how the similarities between the cards, like how we were talking about the fives and how they have the fours and how the threes have the fours. And, you can see it's why this is like, it's such a beautiful science, if you will, because you really do see it's not working against you. It's really working for you. And we have to change our perception of how it's all even playing out. You know what I mean?
And potentially consider that we're playing cards for evolution and for potential of growth and learning, and not to win or dominate, right? Because I don't think the black and red cards are at war. I think they're learning to work together better. And that's why we're all mixed up the way we are, to learn to work with all the parts so that we can evolve from that awareness. So it makes so much sense to me that the cards are an invitation to learn who you are in humanity and how you're using your energy to, are you, like we said early in the cast, are you riding on faith? Are you trusting it's going to be okay? What's telling about what's happening? Because everything you bring into the world vibrates.
Yep. And we all have red and black, which is just the masculine and feminine, right? And so, yeah, because if that's not balanced, you're at war with yourself and internally, which then will then come out.
Right. We talked about it. Exactly. That'll play out. You'll have to take in hostages to project your toxic energy onto.
Yeah, because I would hate to have a whole bunch of hearts in my spread.
Hey, now. It's so funny you say that. When I do my weekly readings for my clients, and when there's more heart, I hear more from them. I get text messages or questions, and do I have to feel this much? What is happening to me?
Oh yeah, like the earlier this week was on Clubhouse, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, you have like nothing but hearts at the beginning of this. And I started talking about relationships and this and that, and not to say that I made it sound like super jolly. Let me see if this was the spread. King of Hearts, Ace of Hearts. Yeah, so they were the two of clubs. Can you see the spread?
What plate are you on? But yeah.
They did not to say so. Why we gotta be so secret about ages? We have to be more comfortable because I have no idea like what's going on.
Right, yeah, I remember you I was like, age. I remember.
Yeah.
And I like how you're talking in. You're like, and what age are you? And what's like? You're just like trying to get the information while you're like moving fast, like.
But it is 30. It is 34. I'm not to just put that person out there like that because they want to keep it a secret. But but there's some Clubhouse. It's a new day.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So
from Clubhouse.
Well, don't explain it. No one else knows either. Okay.
So we're talking about. Okay, no, it's fine. But we're talking about. I was telling someone about the age spread that they were on, right? And I was started talking about they're the two of clubs, and as you can see, age spread, they have nothing but hearts in the beginning of the age spread, right?
Yeah. So
and on this particular age spread, I started talking about. I was like, I don't know because you have. You know how when you first look at it, this is how the reading starts. You look at the spread, right, and you start to analyze, like Gina says, like, how many clubs, where the hearts are, trying to get a gauge and feel of what that particular person could be going through, or what is that spread saying, or and the sequence of the cards is saying for the person, because it's like here you're dealing with relationships. It's very emotional, passionate, but having to find balance, and then it goes into the Ace of Hearts. So it's like the King of Hearts transforms into the Ace of Hearts. So it's kind of like this selfishness, possibly trying to find your voice, expressing yourself, having to gain and understand emotional control, and not being overly protective, possibly as well in some type of way, because the Queen of Clubs can be snappy, and we always talk about the impatience, right? So having to find that balance between your emotions and how to use your emotions, and just anyways, the Two of Clubs is there. The King is supporting the Two of Clubs usually, so that's another dynamic of relationships. And I was talking about maybe a man or father in your life, like what's taking place, and maybe a man coming to you and she's like, no, relationships, I don't know, you talking about relationships because it was horrible. And
I think that's a lot of that, like that age for that Two of Clubs. That's a lot about maturity, because you're displacing a Three of Hearts, which can be very immature and baby-like, childlike. But look, where the King of Hearts is the Venus, so that's growth, that maturity. The Six of Diamonds is Saturn, responsibility. So it's like you're sitting in a very playful house. You want to have fun. You're meant to experiment, yes, there could be relationships. You're probably more impulsive to start them with the Ace of Hearts and Mars. You're definitely like mine, gimme, me. But again, you're meant to grow. There's a sense of very strong needing to be like responsible with this energy.
Yeah, and so what kind of took place and what happened, like you said, the having to grow. And if you look at the Three of Hearts, having to be more playful, have to like. When I see the Three of Hearts, I say, where in your relationships where you're gonna have to be more playful and let go, like you said, become more mature, as you say, like you're really gaining emotional control, you know. So, but long story short, and it was a very like tumultuous relationships. Person was very controlling, and you look at the King of Hearts. I always say sometimes they're very controlling people. I think some of them like they can be
easy there. Don't be talking about the King of Hearts.
I'm sorry.
All those kings are controlling. What?
Oh, wow! So now the plot thickens. All right. Well, I'll have to look at that later.
I thought we knew
talk
that.
about someone else. You thought I already knew. You already knew.
Yeah, I thought we knew that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just say that in my controlling nature, I do try to lean on faith and get my hands off as much as I can, but I'm not going to deny the strong. But back to the Three of Hearts, though, I was with the one a couple of days ago, and he was really talking about a lot of anger issues and carrying anger. And then there's another one that I know who's like struggling a little bit with like the heaviness of the character. So I wonder how the threes stay playful that way. I wonder if like the Three of Diamonds or any threes, is it having so many things that makes them angry? Like where would the anger come from when you might have that playful way?
That's funny. That's what I was talking about. Mars with the Six of Hearts. Talking about Jesus Christ, Passion of the Christ. He probably wasn't the most the most peaceful soul in nature. Probably when you look at it, I don't know. Having to do.
I want to come in peace until you piss me off. Right. And there's no peace.
But that's that inside job you're talking about, Gina, because then when you're in your peace, see, this is the way I'm controlling, I'm correcting, but whatever. But like, you know, when you have that internal peace, what someone else is doing doesn't going to have that same potential to activate you because you're going to see differently. That's what the Jesus, like all the guys were following him were like, oh my gosh. And he's like, oh yeah, so I guess it's like this, or I guess he needs that. Like he's not bugging.
Mm-hmm. Until it's a reciprocity thing, you know, treat you how you treat me, eye for eye, you know, which they tell the Six of Hearts is something you should not do, and for good reason. You know, I'm not saying that all of them have anger issues, but they can be like a tick for tat, making sure that you know
they do. No.
So this is the Three of Hearts you're talking about, or the Six of Hearts?
Well, no, but the reason I got into that because I was talking about me and the Three of Diamonds, and that's their Saturn. But that's one, and then also the for the Nine of Spades, Venus, Mars, Jupiter. Six of Hearts is Jupiter for the Nine of Spades as well. But yeah, so the Three of Hearts, not just like we said, we're always everywhere, but threes, the impatience and maturity and controlling your emotions, and that's my challenge, and that's why I look like that, and that's why I was saying that because that's my challenge and my moon. So, and I hate not, I don't, and just looking at this week, right? Also in retrospect, the emotions and emotional control. You know, I think a lot of events have showed people that have became erratic out of clearly behaving out of a lower state of mind. I'm trying to think of the events that the girl that got lost.
Talk about the conversation I had with you the other day. No, I'm just kidding.
No, could be, yeah, but no. Someone went through domestic violence. That's what happened. That's what it was. A guy he killed his girlfriend, a Nigerian singer, right? He said it was a mistake, right? But he got into an altercation with his girlfriend. They got it out of hand, out of control, and he stabbed her. So you can actually see Three of Diamonds sometimes get into like domestic abuse or disputes. A lot of times the relationships can go into betrayal and those things as well. Like it's a
So
tit
it's
for tat.
pretty passionate. Like when you fight, the fight, like is you love deep and you fight deep. Is that kind of what it is?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I think with the Three of Hearts, and another reason I got into that, because it transforms into the Nine of Spades, So, oh yeah, and the girl was a Nine of Spades. I was like, dang. I was like, yeah, and we say the Nine of Spades is the card of cutting. I think there was one time I was looking at like surgery, birth, so with the Nine of Spades, you can look for accidents or cuts and those things, surgeries, and having those aspects. So yeah, he stabbed his girlfriend, and she's a Nine of Spades. So
my brother's a Three of Hearts, and he's had he's had multiple surgeries. But he's also impulsive as shit. I mean, like he doesn't like, that's the thing. Like, I remember as a child, something with his, like, I think he fell. I mean, my brother,
accident prone. He has the 5 of Hearts and Jupiter. So we both, the threes, like you said, those patterns, both threes have the 5 of Spades. So having to slow down accidents, like,
or they end up with surgery, crashed on a bike, and he had like a whole metal contraption thingy in his arm. My brother could have easily probably went off and played baseball, but the stupid decisions that he made in his life made it to where he couldn't. He had too many injuries.
And being overly impulsive. Yeah. So when you look at threes, it's like impulsive. Like even like you say, you look at the third house, Gemini, is the way Gina been referring to. And I love that you've been referring, because I look at it the same way. Honestly, these charts and looking at it this way is the exact. You're looking at it at astrological configurations, to be honest.
Like, actually, I just did a class last night on the degrees, and it even made it make more, like, it just was like, bam, I can see it in my own chart, like where my degrees are, how the numbers, it's just like, it's fascinating.
Yeah, and looking at why Nina says like that critical degree of 3 of diamonds is like right at Aries is like at 2920 degrees, right? So you see it's being the 29th, having that solar value of 29, and why it's so critical, anything between, I think going from Pisces to Aries is like a breath of change.
But the 29th degree is actually a Leo degree. That's what I learned. It's a Leo degree. Because each, like 9 was.
What does that mean? It's a Leo.
Sag. Well, like, so it kind of goes with the houses. 1 is Aries, 2 is Taurus, 3 is Gemini, 4 is Cancer. So the degree, like, so if your sun.
That's fun. Oh, I like that. Thank you. That's good.
If your sun is mine, for instance, is 7 degrees. So it's the Libra emphasis, right? I'm a Leo. My sun is in 7 degrees, 5th house of Leo, but it also, that's why relationships are such a thing for me, because of the Libra degree on my sun. But I know there's a lot of, it's theories, it's degree theories. So there's things that you can kind of play with and see, like even when we were talking like the 27th degree, right? I was like, well, you can add some numerology to that, and 2 and 7 is 9. Which at age 27, you start your Saturn return, which is a big thing of maturity, which is 9, growing, letting go of things that were important to you that are not important to you anymore as you're getting ready to enter your 30s. So so many ways you can connect it.
Numerology in those aspects.
Yeah, that's interesting. Very interesting. When we look at the pure spread, and when I think about myself as a character in this role, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that number game makes so much sense to me all the time. Like it's like when I'm thinking about how things are going to go and where I'm at. So like leaving the 3, and even though I'm in a 7 of diamonds, knowing that I'm going to build again for it to be what it's going to be, and then change and then grow more like me, like just following the path of the numbers, knowing that again, it's keeping us on course in a way. So good stuff today. Appreciate it. I learned some new things. Thank you.
Yeah, look at the degrees. I think that's can give you more context, more layers.
Yeah, I would love. I might hit you up when I'm trying to look at it, but yes.
But yeah, being comfortable with the change. Change is good. It's growth. Both those 3s have the 5s and Jupiter.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So
and they both, you know, I think the other what does the 3 of spades have? Does it? Oh, well, the 3 of clubs has the 5 of diamonds. So 3 of the
and the
threes
five
have
of-
5s in Jupiter. So they need to change. It's what gives them more. You know, so that's why. And having a 5 in Jupiter, you have to have faith and trust that the shift and the switcheroo, or what I call the wash spin cycle, and it spits you out, is gonna land you to something even better, because it's Jupiter. Now, yes, it can be excessive and impulsive and out of its freaking mind, but at the same
let's
time,
make that clear.
right? But I think that's where, you know, again, allowing that creativity, going with the flow and not resisting it is such a. I think that's what brings you to the 4. You know, like, oh, wait a minute. I see that, you know, I was spit out this way, even though I wanted to go this way, but maybe this way was better for me, but I didn't see it. You know what I mean?
That's the letting go of your idea of it, like I was talking about. That's
exactly.
like a big part. That's the little bits of grieving that's mixed into this, because yes, it's great and it's going to get better and you're going to be surprised. And yes, you have to stop thinking about it the way you were thinking about it. Stop thinking it's going to be, because it's not going to be like that.
Bingo. Exactly. And I think that's, you know, especially if you wanted something that bad, you know what I mean? Like, then it can be very disappointing, because they also have if we're talking about the 3 of diamonds again, they got the 9s, bam, right back to back, you know, so they have to know that it's leading them to something. You know, the 9s at their highest are a wish fulfilled. And again, it's about changing your perception of what is leaving, what is coming, you know. And it, almost like you do have to kind of go through a mourning of what you thought it could have been or should have been, and allow it to be what it is.
So it is. I don't know the exact saying. I don't want to get it wrong. But no, that's what actually a conversation that me and Nick was having just the other day. What on Instagram? It was actually about change. What was it at? Let's see if I can play it.
To manifest something, you have to start with the foundation for manifestation is always the present moment.
No, I can't find it.
Professor.
All right, it's all right. But long story short,
put it on a post. You put it on a post later.
Yeah, I'll put it on my Instagram or something. But it was just talking about the I don't know if that was it. Just the aspect of manifestation, you know, living in the now and being present, even though, you know, and not being so caught up as far as the future, because it's what you create, you know. So it is what, and you are the future. You know,
speaking it into life, like how important that is. Like I really do forget, like when I get stressed and I talk garbage every now and then, and I'm like, oh my gosh, clean it up, like delete it as fast as I can in my dialogue, because it has so much to do that we speak what we want. Like somebody was just texting me in between this saying, like, give me the words to speak it into a new way, because we just have to almost get out of our own rut-like thinking, because that despair and that bonding, and of course Eckhart Tolle would talk about it because he's all about the pain body and how we would bond there. There was like an activation and an energy in those stories, but we don't want to feed those stories because they're really just like anchors to hold us back.
And just to reel it all in, right? And when I look at the 3s and the way that Gina, I look at the same way, like Gemini's 3rd house, like the aspect of the 3 of diamonds. And I hate talking. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's not nothing I would ever want to do. But I'm a Gemini with Mercury and Gemini, and so it's like in the 4th house. And if you're doing whole sign, it's in the 5th, so it doesn't like actually get no better. So, but I look at those 3s and the speaking and the manifestation as the 3 of hearts, 3 of diamonds, 3 of clubs, 3 of spades. It really is manifestation and speaking things into existence, you know, having to really be careful of your word. And also the 6s as well. I look at those and
being confident in what you're saying.
Yeah,
being sure.
It can happen, yeah.
I think that's even bigger, because you can talk a bunch of stuff, but if you don't like It's like walking. What is that? Walk the walk, walk the talk, something like that.
Talk the talk, or walk. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to have the confidence. If you're unsure, now you're telling the universe, God, spirit, I don't know.
That fickleness.
But if you come out with that and you just bam it out, watch that manifest, right? Because you're sure. You're not wavering. Right.
Yeah, I definitely choose the words to say that I enjoy playing cards with both of you, and I hope we find fun ways to do it for a long time.
We could be here all day, but I do have to go. So
no, I was looking at the time myself.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's maybe I'll speak into. I want to just say thank you to all of the comments, and I see you, Brenda, having the same houses, and hello to you, J-Lo, and thanks for coming in, and thanks for listening. And remember, like, there's always an opportunity to ask questions, so feel free. And we've got Moon Glow here, and my practice too, and RashadnCards and readings, and we're just grateful for y'all to come. Thank you.
Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah,
see you guys next time.
More change as well, of course, with me. So if y'all can join us, and if y'all want to come live, you can, and I will pull you in, and you have live questions and answers on days that we have a little bit more time, or maybe we can schedule that more on another day. So it just depends. That's the threes, right? Not knowing, but appreciate you all, and we'll speak with you all later.
Bye, Javi.
Bye. Nice.